Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Mic'd Up Savages. I'm here today with Murph, and today we're going to discuss MLB's new plan on increased efforts of monitoring the use of foreign substances by pitchers throughout the use of the following: increased monitoring by compliance officers, inspections of baseballs taken out of play that will be used by third-party lab to check for substances, spin rate analysis. The MLB plans to utilize the StatCast tracking system to see whether pitchers see a substantial uptick in their spin rate based on their career average, or if a pitcher suddenly increases their spin rate in critical situations during a game. Murph, what do you think about this?
I'm kind of stuck in between, right? Because I see the good and bad on both sides, right? So like the MLB basically didn't have too many options. I think Trevor Bauer talked about this briefly on one of his vlogs before this whole thing was enacted. But like they had essentially like two options, right? Option one, they open up Pandora's box, they let everyone go nuts, use whatever they want, right? And they just say screw it, right? You do you. Maybe they even spray the baseballs down with a substance before the games. That way, it's like now everybody knows that they're using it, and it can be regulated, right? It can be controlled that way. But they've chosen to go the opposite route, which is just get it out of the game completely and police it as hard as they can. So I'm kind of surprised. Like I was kind of curious how they would even go about doing that. And using the labs is pretty good idea. The whole enforcers, like the guys from the league office who are going to be sitting there around bullpens, that sucks. I mean, that's just annoying
Yeah.
to have those stooges walking around, and be like, "What are you
It's
doing over
getting
there?"
controlling a kid's game,
Yeah, yeah, that's annoying. But like in terms of just the substance in general, I understand why pitchers were using it in the first place because you got to think it's hard pressed to find a guy in the league who doesn't use it at this point. Like all your favorite stars, all your favorite aces, everyone uses it.
Everyone's used it at some time.
Everyone. Like 99.9% of the league uses some sort of substance, some sort of pine tar mixture to get a better grip of the ball, right? And sometimes it's necessary, right? In the beginning of the season, when it's really cold up north and a lot of these teams in the AL East, right? You're pitching in Toronto, New York. It's like sub 50, sub 40 degrees sometimes.
Don't forget the NL East too, because it may not have come out about a certain ace having used it, but I guarantee you he's used it. Everyone has used it.
Everyone's used it. Everyone, right? And you go and it's cold. It's sub 40 degrees in the beginning of the season. You can't feel your damn hand. It's going to be tough to get a grip on the ball, right? What do you turn to? You turn to pine tar, you turn to some sort of substance like that, so that way you can locate a 99 fastball high and in instead of at a guy's head, right? So there are some pluses to using grip and using pine tar, but I think, yeah, imagine the union was getting tired. Like a lot of the hitters were like, hey, this is starting to get out of hand. Because you do see guys who are like mediocre fives turning into twos, right? They're turning into studs.
Charlie Morton.
You got guys who are like, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not that good, right? And it's noticeable, right? You got a guy who maybe the Yankees face a guy, right? Let's say, like for example, Robbie Ray. This is not saying he does it. He probably does, but let's just throw it out there. Let's say Robbie Ray gets shelled by the Yankees, right? Bad. They put up a 7 spot on him by the 4th, right? Then he turns around the next time and he shuts him out, throws like 7 flawless innings with 12 Ks. You don't think something's his spin rate's up, his fastball's just getting dotted. You don't think something's wrong there?
Yeah, because you're like, no matter who you are, you get shelled one outing and you go face the other team the next time, and let's say you face them at home at the opponent's home. Like you're not. I'm sorry, but you're not going to all of a sudden start dotting.
No.
You know? Because especially now with COVID, like they're going to be playing certain teams like back to back. Like you said, we play the Blue Jays like freaking 12 times in the first month or something like that. Something
ridiculous. Them and the Rays, we play them like every other week.
Yeah, so it's like pitchers are going to have to adapt. Because I'm just saying, if hitters keep on saying the same 4 pitchers, they're going to start to pick up on it. And the only advantage for the pitchers is having the substance that'll help them, locate better and get a higher spin rate. But then again, I bring up Charlie Morton because he went from the Pirates and throwing 90, and then all of a sudden he signs with the Astros and he's throwing 96, 97 with nasty stuff, sink, break. And everyone's like, what the hell happened? And they're like, he refined his mechanics. Yeah, oh, thank you, baseball guru. Like, no.
I can believe that to an extent because the Astros are pretty good with developing young arms, but like he had some nasty spin rate. Like if you see the spin rate, it's gone up a significant amount. Not something you could just adjust with mechanics that simply, right? You can't just go throwing 90 poo to 99 and with vicious spin your ball. I'm sorry, that's just not how it works.
Mechanics get you to throw the ball. The spin rate is how you let go of the ball, how you break off a pitch, or how you pronate or whatever. Just like, it's ridiculous. And then didn't Trevor Bauer say that he was like, I'm gonna try, like I'm gonna use one start, not using it, and then he's gonna use it in the next, and he did phenomenally better the second.
Yeah, I mean, substance. Yeah, I mean, he's probably like, again, he's one of those guys who's like, listen, he'll admit I use it. Yeah, it's just like, hey, what's the point of hiding it, right? Everybody in the league uses it. Whether they want to admit it or not, it's on them. But like, everybody in the league uses it. A report came out on Cole. He uses it, right? Do you think he's really shying back from that? No, because it's true. He used it. Everybody's used it. It's just a way to kind of give more of an advantage to the pitchers, because you got to think hitters are getting better every year, right? They're seeing the same guys over and over again. They see the same pitches, and at this point in the league, if you're not throwing 95 plus, the fastball is almost useless to this point. Guys are just tearing the cover off the ball if it's not 95 plus, and if there's no movement to it. And unless you have like 2 or 3 elite plus spin rate pitches, you're not going to last long in this league. So adding this pine tar and this grip substance is just trying to get them a way to kind of balance it out. But the MLB hates strikeouts. The league hates strikeouts. Manfred hates strikeouts. They hate it. They'd much rather see a guy like Mike Trout and Aaron Judge go up there 5 for 5 with 5 home runs than see a guy like DeGrom or Cole go up there and throw 7 shutout, 10 plus Ks. Right? They just hate that.
They need offense.
They want that excitement, and they think the best way to do that is through getting rid of the substance and making the hitters have a distinct advantage. Well, not a distinct, but more of an advantage, right? Because they tried the juice balls. Clearly, everyone saw how that worked. That was crazy. You go the Yankees barely beating the home run record. What was that, like 100, 200 around there, home runs?
Around 200. True.
Around 200 was the home run record. And then the next year, they slaughtered that record, and so did 5 other teams.
By like 30 homers. Like
100, more like 100. Like 5 teams in the league are slaughtering that. It's like, hello? Like, what are we doing?
It's like, yeah, they're not juiced.
And then the next year, they changed the baseballs up, and you notice the home runs go down
significantly too, across the board for everyone. And it's not a hit. It's not a bat problem. It's not a hitter problem. It's the baseball.
Yeah. So the whole point, again, the league is trying to generate more excitement, more offense, and the best way to do that is to take away an aspect in which pitchers tend to overuse and abuse. Now, as the casual fan, and I personally didn't notice it that much, but then again, we're not in the league, right? We're not those guys having to face these guys every day, and it become a problem. Like one day you're just piecing this guy up, your team is piecing this guy up, and the next day it's like he's a whole different pitcher. His curveball goes from like a 12-inch to like a 30-inch drop. It's ridiculous. Like he's dotting the fastball out in a way.
He's throwing a fastball in the lefty batter's box, and it's ending inside to a righty.
Yeah. Then you got a problem. Then we got a problem.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough,
but I really think that Major League Baseball, I feel like this is their least of their problems right now.
It really is.
To be putting their efforts in solving this issue. Figure out how to let players market themselves without getting all of your officials getting pissed off. Because players should be able to market themselves. And we already talked about this in an episode, but players should be able to market themselves instead of having to worry about, if I use this substance, am I going to get suspended, fined, whatever it may be. But, at this point in the game, hitters are taking probably, there's steroids out there that players take that fly under the radar. Robinson Cano flew under the radar for however long we know. And I'm pretty sure there's other superstars out there that have done it too. So, I mean, absolutely. If you police the game equally, but don't police it to the point where you're just trying to kill off all the fun. To be honest, if a player wants to do that to themselves, take the steroids and ruin their life, they can. I feel like they should just be able to go and do that. I mean,
that would be an interesting thing. If for one season they just open up Pandora's box, say go nuts. They kind of this experiment, a social experiment. They're just saying
Luke Voigt's like this.
just big as hell. Like, he probably wouldn't take steroids. To be honest, if anything, he'd try to lose muscle a little bit,
Yeah.
prevent injury. But like, it'd be
He
interesting to
needs
see the game change if you like guys could just use pine tar, guys could use steroids, cork bats, and just see what the game becomes at that point. Probably a mess, but like that'd be interesting.
I feel like it can't get right now. Like the pitching can't get better than this.
Probably not, right? I mean, I like I said, I think the pine tar is to an extent being overused and abused because you got guys like fives who are becoming studs of twos and potentially ones, right? Like you got guys who are going from a curveball showing 20 inches to like 40, like doubling the spin rate, doubling the break on pitches.
It's starting at a neck and ending at people's foot.
Yeah. Like it's bouncing at the dirt, and then you're like, what do I do as a hitter, right? So I understand that, but then on the flip side, pitchers, there are situations where you need that extra grip because you just can't get a feel for your hands, right? And that extra grip is necessary. So it's going to be a double-edged sword for the MLB, right? Because you're going to see probably an uptick in home runs and hits, but you're also going to see an uptick in like hit batters and walks. Because if you're a pitcher, you're probably going to aim further out of the zone if you know you can't control it as well now.
I think there's going to be a lot more fines this year too across the board.
Yeah, I'm curious to like what the punishments are going to look like. Like I imagine the first month you're going to see guys who are just going to say fuck it, right? And they're going to take the risk. They're going to like, and teams are going to go up to him like, hey, O'Reilly, why don't you go test the waters for us, huh? Let's see what the damage is like.
It's like they'll throw the rookie to the fire.
Yeah. So like,
maybe
will
be like, we want to see what the fine is. We'll pay for your first fine, kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll be like, how bad is the suspension if there is one, and how bad is the fine?
Yeah,
if there's one. Well, there's going to be at least a fine, I'd imagine. So I imagine the suspension would probably be for a pitcher, probably like 5-6 days. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to miss your start and some change.
You're going to go to at least the middle of your recovery of your first start, start,
So I'd be curious, and I'd be curious of which guys are just going to say screw it and just do it anyways. Like, you're going down the end of the season. Your team really needs to make playoffs. You really need to start winning games. And which pitcher can just be like, hey, if it means my team makes playoffs, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna use it and see what happens.
And I wonder if the MLB is gonna regulate rosin bags now and have like the officials go put out the stuff on the field to make sure teams aren't messing with it. So that should be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Murph, this season should be an uptick in offense, if I do say so myself. I really do believe this year will be very interesting, especially with this new rule. Manfred, go police the game yourself if you're so worried about this crap, because you're trying to kill the game, and trying to kill pitchers. I'm a pitcher at heart. Don't hurt my pitchers.
I'm a catcher, so don't hurt my pitchers.
Don't hurt his pitchers.
I can't imagine what the catchers are like, because they're like, damn, my pitchers are gonna get hurt, like it's gonna affect them. But at the same time, it's like I get to hit though.
I get to hit finally,
yeah, little uptick in my offense.
Maybe. We got Danny Jansen of the Toronto Blue Jays saying he's gonna boost his average from 194 to 197.
How about our boy Gary? Maybe he hits above 200.
Maybe. Get on the Gary train, everyone.
I'm already on it, boy. He's gonna hit 270. 260 with 30 home runs.
262, 30 home runs, 97 RBIs. You heard it here first.
There you go. I feel like these numbers are changing every time I bring up Gary, but hey, they're all still positive. So let's go.
Yes, sir. All right, Murph. Thank you for joining me on this another episode of the Mic'd Up Savages. It's been pretty awesome, this one. Let us know what you think about this stupid MLB rule in the comments. Everyone, have a good weekend. Later.